is the Vintage RPG Podcast, your source for the best in classic and contemporary RPGs. With your hosts, Hambone and Stu.
Welcome to the RPG Podcast, coming at you again from the clubhouse hidden somewhere in the swamps of New Jersey. I'm John Hambone McGuire, and with me, as always, is the founder and publisher of Unwinnable. He's never once mistaken Terra chips for potpourri, Stu Horvath.
Man, potpourri is like potpourri, man. What a betrayal of commerce, right? Like,
I know.
Just it never worked. All it does is collect dust.
I don't know that I've, after like 1994, ever seen a household that had potpourri in it.
I mean, we had it in the 80s and 90s. We definitely had it. My mom had one, or maybe it was my gran had one, that was like a holder that you put a candle under, and then you burned it, and it like heated it up. That actually smelled, but it made a big mess.
Yeah.
And it was probably a horrible fire hazard.
You know, after like seeing like, you know, movies like The Craft in the 90s and other things like that, I would see people's potpourri and I was like, oh, you light it on fire. It's like a witchy thing. And it's like, no, it just sits there.
It just sits there and doesn't smell like anything.
Yeah. And then like, you know, going to a party and like, you know, the Terra chip thing, like seeing a bowl of Terra chips and someone like eating them and being a few drinks in and not knowing what Terra chips were at the time, you know, not on the side of the supermarket I ever worked in. I was like, oh my God, that dude must be more wasted than me. He's eating potpourri. He's like, no, it's fucking, you know, sweet potatoes and fucking beet chips or whatever the fuck it is. But yeah, so the joke today is about how we don't really have a full on topic. We're just going to talk about a bunch of shit. We're going to shoot the breeze a little bit. A potpourri of topical things, if you will.
As we do lately.
Been kind of nice, I'll be honest with you. I mean, we've been doing this. We're coming up on 8 years, July 7th. So, you know, it's nice to especially after doing so many interviews lately, it's nice to kind of just, you know, jazz it up a little bit.
Yeah. And I like I said before the show started, I had COVID recently, and I feel like that has reset my brain in a lot of ways. I can look at the shelf and be like, oh, I could talk about that for half an hour. And I'm just like, I can't talk about that for half an hour.
Oh, yeah. I mean, back in August, dude, when I got COVID, I was riggedy wrecked. And I was like, you know, for like a month or two after, I was like, where am I?
Yeah, there's definitely like reality is fuzzy on the edges right now. It's weird.
Yeah. So what do you got? What's been going on? I mean, also I'm going to jump in here real quick with something. I just want to say congratulations on the games people play. The first episode dropped on WFMU, and there will be a link where Stu puts the links because he handles that to the episode of the archive. Stu and Sara talking about the games people play on WFMU, which is that's the coolest thing, man. Congrats on that.
Let me tell you, man. So from Wednesday, so the show debuted on Sunday, and Wednesday we went in to do another practice session at the studio. From Wednesday to Sunday, like it was like having a straitjacket of stress on. On Monday, I was just like I finally felt like I had my brain back. Like
yeah.
I couldn't think. There was towards the end I wasn't eating. That never happens for me.
Yeah.
Also, wasn't worried about being able to talk for an hour. Was really mostly stressed about like the logistics of like handing off the show at the beginning and the end.
Yeah.
And like it was totally stupid. Everything was really nice.
Yeah.
And, like mellow and like helpful. It was a really fantastic experience, and I don't know why I was so stressed, and I'm hoping that I will not be stressed like that when we do it again, which
I'm sure it'll be fine.
The next one is May 16th at 6:00. We're filming for Bucci.
That's great. It's coming up fast. So definitely check out the archive episode. You can get the link where Stu posts links, and it's pretty awesome.
Yeah, good stuff. Fun. Weird to be part of like something that has such like a huge legacy and imprint in the area. I randomly found on the website the other day like a list of notable people who have been in the studio, and it's just like it's crazy the people who've walked through that place.
Oh yeah.
They have John Carpenter coming up soon. I don't know if he's going to be in the studio, but
I mean, I'm just saying you do have a key.
I mean, if he is in the studio, I might be hard pressed to not like Looky-Loo. But yeah, Todophonic Todd is doing an interview with him in June, I think. And I saw that on the schedule. I was like, oh man, this is like so weird.
I happen to be giving my friend Hambone a tour of the studio today. Who would have believed that John Carpenter was
Yeah.
here?
Oh, look at that. Oh, I'm fired. All right.
There are worse ways to go, man.
Yeah, right. So yeah, that was fun. I've been mostly so another reason that I having difficulty finding new role playing stuff to talk about is I'm so focused on the monster book, which is so D&D centric. That I've not, it's I've been like thinking about Dungeons and Dragons, and then I've been reading about monsters. And while I want to talk about monsters all the time, I don't know. I feel like I gotta like reel it in a little bit because I want you to buy the book too. But in the last couple days, last week sometime, I just sort of like I got it. I really wanted to get in touch with Steve Bissette, the comic artist, the famous comic artist,
Oh yeah.
because he's the guy who headed up the design for the Dungeons and Dragons toys, and that's the book that I want to do after the monster book. And we're all not getting any younger, and I just wanted to like try and get in touch with him. I have my feelers out, but that got me thinking about the toy book. And in thinking about the toy book, it got me thinking about like all the wonderful knockoffs that there are out there. And I looked around and I was just like, well, some of these are inexpensive for a change. So I bought a whole bunch of knockoff toys.
Hell yeah, you did.
Nothing brings me joy quite like the knockoff toys of 1983. It seems like so many of them came out in 1983. Well, it makes sense. There's a moment of like fantasy that was happening, right? But usually these things are super expensive, especially the first one that arrived is called Warriors of the Galaxy, from Marty Toy. 19 is this 83? Yeah, 1983. I got the electric version. And it's this big box. It's a big box of like plastic army dudes.
Yeah.
Except they're like vaguely fantasy themed, science fiction themed. They're sort of simultaneously ripping off Dungeons and Dragons and Masters of the Universe. There's tanks and a UFO. What's interesting about these guys is that usually like the Dragon Riders of the Styx, all the ogres are all carrying the same sword that is molded to their hand. These guys actually have sheets of sprues with weapons and shields and stuff that you could like stick into their hands, which
That's insane.
that is insane. Like those open boxes of this thing, like every time I see the individual figures online, like they don't have any of those with them because they are all lost. They're
Yeah.
like they're under radiators and in between the floorboards. But I was really excited because I found mint in box basically unopened, and it's just like a miraculous gift from 1983 to find something like that. Like all the weapons are still on the sprues, and I just can't. Like it just, I don't care about keeping things in packages, but there is something to be said for like, well, this lasted over 40 years. Like I feel, how many more of these exist? Like, am I destroying something?
Well, I mean, that's the thing. Like, I can't try to tell people to spend their money because things are tight. I'm not trying to tell you to spend your money, but if you have your eyes on weird old knockoff toys from back in the day, you should buy them because we're coming to a point where like the people who've had them back in the day are coming towards the end of, does this spark joy? I need to move someplace else. I should just throw this in the garbage, and then that shit's gone forever. Like I think we're a solid maybe 20 to 25 years away from all that stuff. Like if it's not in a museum or someone's like treasured collection they're going to pass down to their kids, it's just gone forever. So enjoy it while you can.
That's the one of the main reasons why I started buying up all those, monster books by Daniel Cohen and stuff that were on library shelves in the 70s and 80s. They're ex-library books now, but they're in book warehouses. I just feel like they're going to disappear soon.
Yeah.
The price of paper is going up. They're going to get pulped. And like, I think that something similar is going on with this box. It feels like it was a collector who got it, much like I do, to sort of like, oh, I need that piece of my childhood again. And they probably got it 20 years ago. And now they're just like, I don't need this in my house anymore. I'm going to let this go at a ridiculously low price.
I got all the joy mileage I can out of this thing.
Yeah. True to form, this thing has some, it's like, okay, full color terrain play sheet, giant 25 by 19 inches. This set includes golden heroes, demons, rocket guns, laser cannons, rocket cannons. Scanners, space tanks, spaceships, swords, shields, axes, maces, plus 2 plastic hills.
Okay. I feel like that's the thing where they're like, okay, we're going to put this out. Well, what should we put in the box? And then someone just goes, well, how much can we fit in the box? You know what I mean? Like,
Right.
how much can we fit? And what do we need to get rid of? 2 hills. Okay.
2 plastic hills. They're
Plastic
just
hills.
blow molded, plastic. They're very silly.
Yeah.
But the real star of the show, Hambone, is the electronic component. It's a little brown soundboard with stickers for each of the sounds, and there's a little red light when you turn it on, it lights up, and then the batteries are encased by this little. It's sort of like a stone demon holding two towers up next to its head. It's beautiful. It's one of the most amazing things I've ever seen, and it works. The sounds that it makes are fantastic, and I'm going to go through them one by one, and hopefully we will be able to pick up the audio.
And what kind of battery does it take?
It takes 4 AA's.
Oh, wow. That's great.
Yeah, I was really surprised that it wasn't like one big D or something,
No watch battery bullshit here.
Yeah, that too. Okay, so the first sound is explosions. It's a pretty good explosion.
Not bad, not bad.
The second sound is it's a picture of a rocket flying, and so it's a rocket fire.
All right.
I like how it includes the explosion sound effect.
Yeah.
Now this is the electronic scan. This is the longest one, and my son Jer, who I tried to hide this from him, but he figured out that there was a new toy. It's like he could smell it or something. He desperately wants this thing, but this is his favorite sound. He's never going to get it because this is a piece of history, and we have to. It belongs in a museum, Jer, not on the floor. But this is the electronic scan.
It's on a frequency that's too low for the show.
Well, it's a beautiful sound. Here's some laser fire. Did that work?
Nope.
Oh, man.
Trust us, dear listener. It's cool.
Yeah. Well, I'll skip the tank, the space tank. It just sounds like treads rolling. But let's see if I can get the spaceship. It's a takeoff and then a landing.
Oh, that's fun.
Right? I would have had a blast with this as a kid. Like Jared's always making like little sound effects with his mouth, and he was really delighted by this. I've kept this on my desk because how could I not? It's just like I want to use it.
It's just nice to hit the button sometimes to make a sound like you're lost in your thought and you're like rocket taking off. All right, I'm here. So I got the DC Comics app, the DC Infinite or whatever it's called.
Yeah.
Well, I was gonna get it, but I ended up springing for the ultra package, which means you get like new comics every month. It's like a month after they get released because I wanted to hook it up for a buddy who probably is spending a lot of time, needs to just read some comics where he's at.
Right.
And I'm going through it, and unlike the Marvel app, which is great, I do enjoy the Marvel app as well. They just have so much more older stuff, and they still have the stuff that they licensed, as part of it. But I'm going through it. I'm looking through old comics. I'm trying to think, and I'm making a list of like old comics that I want to read. And I was like, you know what? I never actually got to finish James Robinson's Starman.
Oh, yeah.
So I've been reading Starman from the beginning. I'm probably on issue like 30, and what a fantastic book. Granted, it is the 90s. And there is some stuff that they say in there that is very 90s coded.
Yeah.
And stuff that maybe should have come out of the villain's mouth, not the hero's mouth. But the story has just got so much heart. The father-son dynamic of it. The dude kind of becoming a hero and kind of just figuring out how to be a superhero in in Opal City, which is not the biggest city. It's not Green Lantern worthy Coast City, but it's very cool. I'm at the point now where the Mist has given him 11 and a half months. And then she's like, I'm going to push you back a little bit, but I'm coming for you and I might kill you. And, it does cross over with other heroes, but it does it in almost it's like a TV show kind of way where they mention that there's other heroes around, and then occasionally someone kind of pops up for a hot second and then bounces. But I'm thoroughly enjoying that. I started reading Sandman Mystery Theater.
Oh, that was great. That was a great title.
Yeah. Oh, and I'm like looking through this and I'm like, wow, like back in the day, DC definitely like they went off and they did some weird stuff, you know? And Hellblazer, I started reading Hellblazer again from issue 1, you know, and then of course, I'm reading my Tights books, but you know, it's definitely like interesting going back and looking at the stuff that was kind of off the beaten path and kind of seeing how it ages, and some of it ages like perfectly and actually is better as I'm reading it when I'm older, because I'm reading it in a different headspace. Like, you know, reading Jack Knight in my late 20s, early 30s versus, you know, reading Jack Knight as I'm cruising towards 50, it's a very different experience, you know? And it's cool, man. I've definitely been enjoying my DC app. I've been, honestly, I got off of social media except to really just kind of post promotional stuff. So in the time I'd be doom scrolling at night, I read like an hour and a half of comics before bed every night.
Nice.
And my brain feels so much better for it.
Yep, I agree. I'm not online as much anymore, and I read lots of books, mostly about monsters. And I think it's like the selfiest self-care that I could possibly have created.
It's cozy, you know. Like I'm in bed. Sally's on her Kindle. I'm on my iPad. There's a cat between us, purring loud and kind of just making biscuits. And I'm like, well, this is the life, man. You know, if this is how I got to end every day, it's pretty good.
Right. All right. So one real quick thing. This is something that would never be on the podcast because, like, how would we make even a 15-minute podcast about this? But I was out there staring at the shelves, being like, what can I talk about? And when I do that, I pull things off the shelves and I look at them, and I rediscovered one of my favoriteest things, which is the 1993 Rifts calendar.
Ooh, that's awesome.
So this is what spawned my desire to reuse, you know, vintage calendars. Have we talked about this on the podcast?
We have not.
There's only 14 different calendars that you need. If you save all 14, you will have all the calendars you will ever need for the rest of your life. Some come up more frequently, but you need one that basically, you know, one calendar for every year that starts on a different day of the week, and then the same for leap years. That's it.
Wow. Okay, tell me more.
So for the last 3 years, I've had vintage calendars up. My first one was the 1978 Lord of the Rings calendar, Hildebrandt calendar.
Fantastic.
Last year, it was like a 90s fantasy art calendar, which was okay, but it was one of the rarer years, so there's not a lot of stuff out there. And then this year, I have a banging Stephen King calendar from like the early 80s. It has a whole lot of book art and stuff. But the thing that started that all off was that somebody, and it was in a lot of stuff that I got. It was just the 1993 Riffs calendar. I was like, get out of here. Now, I know that D&D had a bunch of Dragonlance calendars over the years because I had them as a kid. But I like Riffs having a calendar seems like a bridge too far. Like did they really have the market share, the audience to support that kind of thing? I guess not, because it's the only one that they ever made. But man, what a treasure that this one is. It's basically just Kevin Long and Keith Parkinson art.
Jesus, that's awesome.
There's a inner spread by Justin Long that's not Justin Long, that's an actor.
That's a very different kind of party.
Yeah,
but
he got his head smashed in Barbarian, right? That's the guy?
Oh yeah.
No, not that guy. Kevin Long does this 2-page spread of the spider robots and the skull robots, you know, just fighting a city. Just blowing up a city. It's great. There's so many. Most of them are covers of other Riffs books, like the cover of, I think, Source Book 1 with the guy with the brain hat, and the screen, the GM screen with the red. He's like got a battle suit with a skull face, and the Atlantis book cover, and the cover of the Parkinson's, you know, with the girls and the monster that's on the rule book, and Vampire Kingdoms, and the conversion book. But, like, you know, it's nice to have those pieces of art without, you know, the trade dress and stuff. And it's just it's a really great artifact of the early 90s. You could go to whencanireusethis calendar.com to find out what years next year's calendars, you could buy from, and then you can go on eBay and you can go find the retro calendar of your dreams. This year, I was really hard pressed. I swore that I would just get nerd stuff, but there was a tacky Snap-on Tools calendar that was
that's good.
It was like awkward looking babes with like late 80s perms in bathing suits holding like one tool and then like all of this neon behind them. It was really fantastic, but I just couldn't, like, it was just so cheesy, but there was no way that I was gonna like have that hanging in the clubhouse.
No, definitely not. Be like, Dad, why does that woman have a sawzall? Like, like just...
I mean, I would answer that question, but
I mean, or the fact that your like 7-year-old knows what a sawzall is, but I think that would be the more the takeaway.
Oh man! So real quick, the 1993 calendar, I'll be able to hang it on the wall in 2027, 2038, 2049, 2055. I'll probably be dead by then, and then my son could hang it on the wall in 2066 and 2077.
The Vintage RPG Podcast, folks. It's an educational program, y'all.
Speaking of the kid, he watched Last Crusade over the weekend. And he's 7, and I feel like I was impressed, and I'm his dad and all, but they get to the end, they get to the Grail Temple, and he goes, "Is that Petra?" And I was like, "What? What?" I was like, "Yeah, that is Petra. How do you know about Petra?" He goes, "Read about it in a book."
That's amazing. I think that The Last Crusade is probably the most 7-year-old friendly of the original 3.
Yeah, well, he's not allowed to watch the second one.
Oh my God,
my mom was just like he was asking again. He's like, "When can I watch that?" My mom was like, "When you're 21."
Yeah, Temple of Doom's a little above the pay grade of a kid who ain't even double digits yet.
I'm not even trying to save him from like being scared. I'm just trying to save him from like a mean movie. Like that movie's just mean spirited.
Yeah, it is a very mean spirited movie. I love it. But like when I go back and I watch it, I'm like, this is kind of cruel.
Yeah.
Speaking of movies, though, I will say if you have not seen it yet, or whatever year you are listening to this episode, and if you haven't seen it yet, Sinners. Holy shit. Sinners is the kind of movie that I rarely will think about a movie 5 or 7 days afterwards. I thought about this movie every single day. You can't see it in IMAX anymore because the Thunderbolts has overtaken, because the mouse gets the mouse's way, but I saw it in IMAX and it had like a changing aspect ratio, and it just works so good. It's Ryan Coogler. It's about twin brothers who are both played flawlessly by Michael B. Jordan. They're trying to leave their like troubled lives behind in Chicago. They come back to their hometown. They want to open a juke joint, and it goes completely south from there. But they do this amazing thing where the movie's like a little over 2 hours, and the whole like first 50 minutes is just character stuff. It's nothing really happens. None of the evil darkness stuff really happens within even the first hour. But like, it's so well done and so like beautifully shot and well acted, and the story is so rich that you don't even care. Like you know what's coming. Ultimately, it becomes like a From Dusk Till Dawn situation. I'm not. If you see a trailer, you know what's coming. But like, it is such a well written story that the first hour when all this character shit has happened flies by, and then it happens. And then it's a completely different movie at that point, but it's awesome, and it ties the two different aspects of the movie together seamlessly. They make a lot of promises in the movie, and they deliver on every single one, and they do it in ways that it doesn't feel like they're just tacking something on later. Like everything makes sense. And if you're going to watch it, make sure you watch it all the way through the first set of credits, because there is an after credit scene that plays through the first set of credits, a full scene, and then like the credits come up. But it is just such a beautiful little button on the end of the movie. I can't recommend this movie enough. I urge you, if you hear this, within like the theatrical run, this is an absolute must see in theaters. If you hear it at some point later, watch it on VOD, watch it on HBO, it's Warner Brothers, it'll show up on HBO first. Like, holy shit, guys, Sinners.
Killing me. It's killing me because the earliest showing locally is at noon. 15 minutes to get there, which is fine. I can leave before, but you get there at noon, then 15 minutes of credits. It's a 2 hour and 15-minute movie.
No, dog. It's 25 minutes, like leading into the movie. Like the movie didn't start.
Even worse. Then there's an after credit sequence. Like there's no way I can get back in time to pick the kid up from school.
No, you definitely couldn't do it. So I saw it. I was, Sally was out of town, and I was at the Geek Flea, and people kept coming up, be like, "Hey, but have you seen Sinners yet?" And I'm like, "No, I really want to go." And then finally, like Stephen Blake came up, and he's like, "Hey, but have you seen Sinners yet?" I'm like, "No, I haven't." I mean, you're like the fifth person who's told me this today. He's like, "Dude," he's like, "you need to see this movie in theaters." And I was like, "All right." And I just pulled it up on my phone, and it was supposed to be playing at 3:30. And so by the time I got there, it was like 3:45, and I got my pretzel nuggets, I got my soda pop. And by the time I sat down and ate my pretzel nuggets and drank half my soda pop, it was like 3:50 something, and the movie finally started. And I paid extra to see it in IMAX, and I am pleased as punch that I did.
This is just a trend that I feel like as I would go to the movies. So my mom brought the kid to see Minecraft over the weekend. They went to like a 9:45 showing. You know what that sounds like to me? Perfect. There was nobody there. The movie was like there were less previews. They were in and out. I felt like it was like a 10-minute movie. They were back so fast.
Yeah, I mean, kids movies, they get them in and out. Has Jared been singing that song?
No.
Thank God.
No.
It's everywhere.
I don't actually. Well, I don't know about that.
The plague has passed over your home.
Yeah, he doesn't sponge stuff up like that. He's in his own little world, and he synthesizes stuff into that world. But it's very much like he doesn't it's weird. Because I probably would have been singing the song.
Oh, it's an earworm, and I'm not going to do it now.
Don't do it. I don't want to know. Protect me at all costs.
So you not hearing it or knowing about it, I liken to Christmas time. Mm-hmm. Was that there is that one song that we all try to avoid, but we eventually get whammed.
I mean, you have to wham yourself at the end after you've survived all of it.
Yeah. No one makes that alive in that one. All right. I mean, I feel like whamming yourself is a good note to end on. This was another amazing episode of the Vintage RPG podcast. Stu, where can people find you on the internet?
They can find me online at vintagerpg.com, but now they can find me on WFMU.org.
Oh, yeah.
Which is nuts.
I know. I love that for you.
There'll be links to that, and listen to the show. It's fun. We talk a little bit more about video games, but I also talked about the Star Wars role-playing game, and we're cooking it up.
I mean, you did do the first episode on May the 4th.
I mean, and
felt like you kind of had to. Obligations,
it was a mandate from Disney. They were just like, you gotta toe the line on this.
The mouse gets you no matter where you go. You can find me at hamandeggpublishing.com. It's where all my links are. You could join the Ham and Egg Publishing Discord. You could join our Patreon for free, where we post updates about the things that we're working on. We have links to all the different places where you can buy 3-2-1 RPG, Zombie Brain Eaters, and crowdfund your fucking life. Also coming soon, going to launch on June the 3rd, Days of Future Fairhaven. I'm doing a third-party adventure for Weird Heroes of Public Access. Levi Combs and I are doing it together. It is, I'm going to say, my magnum opus when it comes to weird and wild stuff. So Days of Future Fairhaven, keep your ears and eyes open for that. If you like the show, don't forget to rate, review, and subscribe. Your reviews really do help other listeners to find us. And if you really like the show, why not become a patron? Patreon.com/vintagerpg. We get a behind the scenes look at the stuff that Stu's working on. I post up some stuff about what I'm working on as well. At the $5 tier, I do a monthly game. I try to do things like we talk about on the show, but I also do some other stuff as well. At the $10 tier, you can get in on Stu's legendary West Marches campaign. And for as little as $1 a month, you get early release episodes sometime on Friday or Saturday, depending on when we get them later in the week. We also have a killer Discord community we'd love for you to be a part of. Patreon.com/vintagerpg. So for Stu Horvath, I'm John Hambone McGuire. May the dice always roll in your favor. Thanks for listening. The Vintage RPG Podcast is a ham-fisted production. Music by Dead Go West. Art by Schaefer Brown. Edited by R. Alex Murray. Check us out at vintagerpg.com.